Okay, this is going to be exciting. We are picking at a spot where we haven't been here in a couple weeks. Now, of course, off the live stream, I'm an addict. I draft here all the time. But on the live stream, when's the last time we had pick 11? This is going to be a fun draft in that I think we may get Najee Harris at pick 14. I'm just feeling it. I'm telling you the trends of drafts right now. Najee Harris has been falling to the beginning of the second round in a lot of these. But before we start this draft, please go down there, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And if you're playing fantasy football and you have not signed up for Underdog Fantasy yet, fix your life. Go sign up for Underdog Fantasy. Have some fun getting some real money fantasy football drafts. And when you sign up for Underdog Fantasy and you use promo code FLOCK, they will match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. And you are going to get our 2022 fantasy football draft guide. So you'll be able to hop into some very fun fantasy football drafts risk-free because they're matching your deposit. And legitimately with a $10 deposit, you're getting almost 300 pages of, in my opinion, some of the best fantasy football advice and statistics you can find. You can find the link in the description, find it in the comment section, have some fun, get some drafts with us. But we have Jefferson and Chase going before CMC. Usually I'm not too surprised if we see Kupp at 2. If we see a Kupp at 2, I'm like, okay, personally, I probably wouldn't do it, but it is what it is. Personal preference. That's what you want. That's what you want. Take Kupp, find some running back value a little bit later on. But to take both Jefferson and Chase over CMC, now we definitely need to take note of this. We need to acknowledge the fact that maybe this is going to be a draft room that is going a little bit more wide receiver heavy than a regular draft would. So let's be on the lookout for some wide receivers sliding up here. We have Eckler at 6. This is where the draft really starts. Stephon Diggs at 7. The first 5 picks, we say this every single time because it's true every single time. You're locked into Taylor, CMC, Kupp, Jefferson, and Jamar Chase in some order through the first 5. The draft starts at 6. Derrick Henry goes at 8. Najee Harris may be the best player available to us at 11. But like I said, I think the gap between Najee Harris and Mixon's not going to be large. And I think that with the trends we've seen in draft rooms right now, there's a chance we get Najee Harris in the second. So we're going to go ahead. We are going to take Kelsey here. I love taking Kelsey here at the beginning of the offseason until Kyle Pitts started falling to the very end of the third round. Now it's a little bit harder for me to draft Travis Kelsey, knowing that we may have to pass on Kyle Pitts at the 3-4 turn. But no, Najee Harris goes at 14, so we're not going to get Najee. Not the end of the world. I'd be fine grabbing a Joe Mixon here almost regardless. Or a CeeDee Lamb. We'll see what they give us. We'll see if they give us a Lamb or Joe Mixon. But Leroy back up on the clock after taking Najee Harris. He goes Joe Mixon. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to take CeeDee Lamb. Yeah. I was going to be fine with either one of those guys. Now with CeeDee Lamb, I understand this is a wide receiver that has not established himself as an elite wide receiver in fantasy yet. So to take him this early, I know a lot of people are going to be questioning it. A lot of people are probably not going to agree. But if I'm looking at CeeDee Lamb, I am looking at an elite level talent that had 2.2 yards per route run last year. That is younger than Devonta Smith, younger than Kenny Pickett, younger than Najee Harris, younger than Jalen Waddle. He's going to continue to develop as a wide receiver. This is an NFL team that led in points scored last year. Oh my God. I gotta stop talking about CeeDee Lamb. To look at Michael Pittman Jr. going at 15. Now, keep in mind, look at where we are in this draft. We are next picking at 35. So this Michael Pittman Jr. pick is not going to slide any value down the board to us. Nope, we're not going to get any value like the teams here picking at the middle of the second round may get a player like Saquon Barkley at 17 or Mike Evans falling all the way to 18, the perfect example. However, this is a very positive sign, in my opinion, that we may have this drafter at 10 as a crazy person. For them to take Michael Pittman Jr. here at 15, in my opinion, you have to be crazy to make that decision. So what this may allow for is this may allow for us to be able to find value later on if this team continues to go AWOL. Now, there's also another possibility that sometimes you get in these underdog drafts and teams think that they can win the league by drafting 8 wide receivers in a row, by drafting 7 wide receivers in a row. Maybe that's what this team is setting up. I don't know. I just want to make sure that we are looking at that team in particular, because outside of that selection, I mean, Aaron Jones falling all the way to the Christian McCaffrey team is very crazy. I would trade my start at the 111 to that Christian McCaffrey and Aaron Jones pairing immediately. I would love that. Love that from the 5 slot. But really, the only team that looks to be going straight up crazy here at this point is going to be that 10 team drafting right next to us. And you want the crazy people drafting next to you. But getting back to CeeDee Lamb, extremely young, only going to keep getting better. And if you're looking at the targets available in this offense this upcoming season, phenomenal. Gallup missing the beginning portion of the season. I apologize. Amari gone to Cleveland. Cedric Wilson gone to Miami. Yeah, Tolbert's going to come in. Tolbert is going to have a role. CeeDee Lamb, I think, is going to jump up to be that elite level wide receiver this season. I have him ranked as our wide receiver 6. I think possibly we go mixing over him, but CeeDee Lamb at 14 is going to be an easy pick for me. We also set ourselves up with the potential to go Dak Prescott later on. But now we have Fournette, pick 22, Tyreek, 23. Very standard turn here at the 2-3 turn. Nothing too eye-opening to talk about. I will say it's nice seeing Javonte Williams fall to the 3rd round more and more often. Like Javonte Williams, when he was going earlier in the season at the end of the 2nd, the middle of the 2nd, even after the Melvin Gordon signing. Obviously, that was a very bad price point on Javonte, but here it's a lot more obtainable, and getting Jamar Chase, Mark Andrews, A.J. Brown, that's pretty exciting as well. What is this team going to be able to do that has CMC and Aaron Jones? Personally, if I were them, I go Allen, DJ Moore, Kyle Pitts. I'm not a massive fan of Mike Williams, at least not in this range. But let's see what they do, because I feel like once you start Christian McCaffrey and Aaron Jones, you get that blessing of the first 2 rounds going your way. I think it's just up to you to not mess it up. Your job is to just not mess it up. They're maybe going to try to do that right now. Just take highest ranked player according to ADP. Just going to go ahead, take Mike Williams. I'm personally not a massive fan of Williams. I will say I like seeing Kyle Pitts go off the board. Obviously, when we have Travis Kelce here, we are hoping that these tight ends go, because the last thing I want to see is us take Kelce in the 1st, then all of a sudden have Kyle Pitts sitting there at pick 35 for us. And I just hate my decision to take Travis Kelce, James Conner off the board. Oh, if we get DJ Moore, I'll be a happy man. I'll be a happy man with DJ Moore. Morris Code has a Dalvin Cook and DeAndre Swift. If I were them, I go DJ Moore here, and I don't even really think about it. In the team before us, Legacy, that decided to take Michael Pittman Jr. at pick 15. Remember, they're a crazy person. We have no idea what they're going to do. No freaking idea. Okay, Morris Code goes Travis Etienne. They go 3 running backs to start us off with. Legacy on the clock. This is the team that took Michael Pittman Jr. They go Hollywood Brown. Hell yes, we are getting DJ Moore. DJ Moore is someone that we are drafting at the end of the 3rd, the beginning of the 4th, so often before the Baker Mayfield trade. But now it's almost impossible to get him in this range. So I'll be very excited to go ahead to get DJ Moore here. And if we get Alvin Kamara making it to us at pick 38, yes, there's definitely a probability that Alvin Kamara misses the first 6 weeks, which isn't great. And you probably wouldn't draft him at the beginning of the 4th if he's guaranteed to miss the first 6 weeks. But at the time of this recording, just rumors that the time frame is going to be 6. Now you have this team going with a 3rd running back as well. So it looks like we are in a running back heavy draft. Now I'm going to hope that we get Jalen Waddle here. Of course, we don't want to take Sutton. I'm not going to take Sutton. Even if he does fall, I'd draft Terry McLaurin over Cortland Sutton. The 2 guys that are just never making it onto my teams. In the 3rd round, I'm never taking Cortland Sutton. In the 4th round, I'm never taking Gabriel Davis. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. I can't do it. Jalen Waddle goes. That definitely sucks. I definitely prefer Waddle over Terry McLaurin, but it is what it is. I'll take Terry McLaurin here as the 38th player off the board, and with McLaurin, I believe, in the same class as DJ Moore. No, I'm sorry. Terry McLaurin was in the same draft class as DK Metcalf and A.J. Brown. DJ Moore was in the draft class before then, but Ezekiel Elliott goes directly after. And let's definitely be on the lookout to see what these teams at 12, 9, and 8 do as well. Because all 3 teams here go with 3 running backs to start. A very, very, very rare thing you see on Underdog Fantasy. And let me point this out. This is why we are deciding to draft our wide receivers very early and wait on running back a little bit. Because the wide receivers, after like Terry McLaurin, Jalen Waddle, DJ Moore off the board, The wide receiver position gets gross quickly. You're looking at Gabriel Davis at pick 40. I know I need to stop bullying Gabriel Davis. I know I need to move on and figure out something else to talk about. But still, I think if we are just going to wait on running back, get freaking Clyde Edwards-Helaire guaranteed after pick 100, it's going to be pretty exciting. Actually, maybe we have to reach on CEH based on this draft position at 86 if that's something we are wanting. We could also get Josh Jacobs. Of course, we could also get Miles Sanders later on. We could get David Montgomery falling to the end of the fifth sometimes. Sometimes we can get J.K. Dobbins falling to the end of the fifth. Now, about 2 weeks ago, I will flex on y'all. I had a Travis Kelce start from pick 11, and Mahomes made it to pick 59. Patrick Mahomes made it to pick 59 when we took Travis Kelce in the first. Now, of course, that is unlikely to happen, but just knowing it's a possibility, it does get me excited. We have Justin Herbert off the board here at pick 48, so it looks like these quarterbacks are falling a little bit. George Kittle at 49, good for us. We're not dying to have a tight end. I would love to see someone take Dalton Schultz, especially one of the teams that took Andrews, Kyle Pitts, or Darren Waller. If they were to go Dalton Schultz, that'd be fantastic for us. I would take Mahomes or Lamar in a heartbeat. We'd go Metcalf. If we get one of these two guys, I'm very happy. Mahomes goes at 53. That sucks for us. This team on the clock has Josh Allen. I'd be surprised if they go quarterback. They go DK Metcalf. We may take Josh Jacobs here and then get one of Kyler Murray or Jalen Hurts on the way back around. But if Kyler were to go before us, then we maybe just go ahead and take Jalen Hurts. I'm just not a big fan of Bateman. I'm not a big fan of Darnell Mooney at this price point. Bateman goes. I think in terms of our overall wide receiver rankings, like I prefer Bateman over a couple of these players. Like I definitely rank Darnell Mooney. Prefer Darnell Mooney over a couple of these players. I rank Darnell Mooney over Bateman quite easily. This team at pick 60 as well. I guess they are. Let's think. We probably want an elite level quarterback and a running back here. We're going to go ahead. We are going to draft Jalen Hurts because I'd be surprised if this team that has 3 running backs already decides to grab Josh Jacobs. And then if Godwin is available and Josh Jacobs goes, we'll go Godwin. Here's our plan. These are the 3 guys we would take in order. Jalen Hurts, I'm fine reaching on him. I think if we take Jalen Hurts, we do have a roster construction advantage given the fact that we only have to draft 2 quarterbacks total. But, okay, let's sit here and think on this. Darnell Mooney falls 5 picks in his ADP. If we take Darnell Mooney here on the way back around, at the running back position versus wide receiver position, let's roll the dice. We haven't done this in a while. We have not done this in a while. We have not gone with a 0 running back team. I guess even if we would go Josh Jacobs, technically the definition of a 0 RB team, according to most people, is no running backs through the first 5 rounds. But let's go ahead. Let's take Darnell Mooney. And I know a lot of people are going to think that we are going overboard, that we are losing our minds. What I will say is, hell, we still have not drafted a single player for our bench. While it seems crazy for us to go in this direction, it's not like we are stacking up our 5th, 6th wide receiver, and then we're throwing these guys on the bench before we even have our first running back in here. I think the running backs that we'll have access to later on, specifically at the 9-10 turn as well, I'm very excited about. I think that these teams that decided to draft 3 running backs in a row to start this draft, they are going to have to look at the wide receiver position in the middle rounds here. I'd be very upset. Good. Spinosaurus goes Adam Thielen. I was going to say, if he goes Josh Jacobs and takes up 4 running backs in the same team, that's going to definitely hurt us. But overall, I'm pretty excited. I still think we can go Dak Prescott if we would like at the beginning of the 8th round to get that CeeDee Lamb stack. But it's not like that CeeDee Lamb stack is going to be very unique. Everybody's going to have it. Okay, so we have Josh Jacobs finally off the board at pick 66. I mean, I would be personally very excited about that Josh Jacobs value. Josh Jacobs is my most drafted player on Underdog Fantasy because he's going in the 6th round. Because I'm looking at a running back that does not fit the prototypical build of a dead zone RB. He's a running back that is on his rookie contract that has 3 straight low in running back 1, high in running back 2 finishes. That is a former 1st round draft pick. That is not a prototypical dead zone RB. This is someone that, with this profile 4 years ago, he would have been going in the 2nd round. He would have been going at the beginning of the 3rd. So it's not like it's as simple as saying, oh, you can't draft running backs 5, 6, 7 because it didn't work back in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, because draft boards have completely changed. Now, we have Devonta Smith off the board at pick 70, A.J. Dillon off the board at pick 69. Of course, it would have been nice for us to have Dillon making it back to us, but based on his ADP, highly unlikely that we were to get A.J. Dillon. It would definitely be a pipe dream. But it is possible that we see Antonio Gibson on the way back around. I've seen Antonio Gibson fall to the very end of the 7th. I've taken Antonio Gibson at the very end of the 7th. So it looks like Tony Pollard here off the board at 71, even if we were to commit to draft, say, Dak Prescott at pick 83, and then Tony Pollard was the best value according to ADP at 86, and we could get that double stack there with Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Tony Pollard. I still wouldn't have been that interested with it if we were going to be completely honest. Like, I probably still would have decided to go ahead and pass on Pollard. I just hate his price point where you're having to take him over CEH. But now, Drake London off the board. Allen Lazard, good. Get these wide receivers gone. Joe Burrow gone as well. Good for us. Get these wide receivers, get these quarterbacks, even get these tight ends. I don't even know what tight end you would take next, but hell, if I'm going to be able to get Gibson or if I'm going to be able to get Miles Sanders on the way back around, I will be very excited about that. Russell Wilson gone. And a couple of these teams took 3 running backs in a row to start, so I don't know if they can go with Antonio Gibson or Miles Sanders. Maybe make the argument because we have Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders can be a pass-catching running back that there is some correlation there that we should go ahead. We should take Miles Sanders over Antonio Gibson. Be fine with that argument. Maybe we do, but my argument would be, hell, there's a chance we get Miles Sanders on the way back around, where probably a 0% chance that would happen with Antonio Gibson. Trey Lance goes pick 79. Come on. Michael Thomas off the board. We're about to get one of these RBs. Why we decided to go Darnell Mooney in the last round over Josh Jacobs. Like, look at the best available wide receivers at this point. You're looking at Kadarius Toney, Christian Kirk, Brandon Ayuk. I definitely think you prefer Darnell Mooney in a tier above all those guys versus Josh Jacobs and Antonio Gibson. I prefer Josh Jacobs, but it's not like they're worlds apart. Morse code on the clock. They go Christian Kirk. Hell, guys, we played this perfectly. Gibson off. We're going to get Miles Sanders. We're going to get the starting running back here in Philadelphia to pair up with Jalen Hurts. Possibly going to end up just taking a Dak Prescott or a CEH here on the way back around. Sorry, not Hawkinson, CEH. Now, let's sit here and think through this. Quarterbacks that we would have access to later. I guess we could take Justin Fields later. I actually really like the idea of taking Justin Fields on that team where we grab Darnell Mooney. We can get that rushing upside. No. We took CeeDee Lamb. Yes, every CeeDee Lamb team ever drafted is also going to have Dak Prescott attached to it. So it's not like we're necessarily making an expert pick here that is so easy, yada, yada, yada. Like everybody does this. Everybody does this. But it is what it is. I think there's a reason that everybody is doing it. We will go ahead. We'll take Dak Prescott here at pick 86. Now, if we find some value falling to us at wide receiver, like if we get a Tolbert or Michael Gallup at a decent value later on, we will go ahead. We will decide to take said player. But Damian Harris before CEH. God, the hate with Clyde Edwards-Helaire has gone far. Like I said, I've said this every live stream over the past week, so I know you're tired of hearing it by now. But CEH was someone that literally I was never drafting when he was going like 15 picks before this. But I went from having him in like 2% of drafts to now double digits because I cannot stop drafting him here in the middle of the 8th. In the middle of the 8th round, it's so damn hard to pass up on that value. Now, let me recap our draft. So we have the 2 elite level quarterbacks with Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts. Great for us to see Kirk Cousins go here so early. We have the elite level tight end in Travis Kelce. We have some very strong receivers with CeeDee Lamb, DJ Moore, Terry McLaurin, and Darnell Mooney. At this point, we're going to be looking for running back value. The best thing is, however, that we have a ton of running backs with a ton of appeal at pick 107, at pick 110. Like, I'm perfectly fine with the running backs that are going to be available with our next 2 selections. We already have the elite level quarterbacks. We have the elite level tight ends. We're pretty damn strong at wide receiver. I think we can stay afloat at running back if we draft 6 of these guys and we have guys that are going to have roles week 1 and access for more if something were to change in their backfield with an injury. Okay. But Matthew Stafford goes pick 98. Great for us. Aaron Rodgers, 99. Great for us. Like I said, we have Jalen Hurts, we have Dak Prescott. We want every single quarterback off the board. Chase Edmonds gone. Edmonds would have been someone that I really wanted, but let's look at this team. This team drafts 5 running backs here with Akers, Dobbins, Dillon, Rashad Penny, and Chase Edmonds. Hopefully they're done drafting running back. I mean, if you talk to any smart drafter, you draft 5 running backs that early, you draft 5 running backs before the 10th round, you are going to be done drafting them, but we don't know if this guy knows what he's doing. We don't know if he is going to continue to hammer in these RBs, so that's definitely going to be a concern. Okay, so we have Dallas Goedert off the board, 101. We would have taken Dallas Goedert if you would have fallen to us at the 107 because we have Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders, of course, but we have Travis Kelce. It's not going to hurt us to see these tight ends get drafted. And dear God, these running backs have flown off the board. Oh, God. Never mind. This isn't as exciting as I was making it seem like. James Cook is one of my most drafted players in this range. If we're setting up a queue here, I'm not considering Knox. Honestly, not going to consider Sky Moore here without Patrick Mahomes. I think we would take Lockett if he were to fall. Ramondre Stevenson off the board. I think we go Cordell Patterson, James Cook, then Melvin Gordon. Okay. If Lockett's available at 107 as our wide receiver 5, we'll go ahead. We'll take Tyler Lockett, hoping that they can find out how to upgrade that quarterback position through Jimmy Garoppolo primarily. But let's go Lockett here. We'll take another running back on the way out, whether that's Patterson, James Cook, Melvin Gordon, whatever they leave us. Looks like this may be a team that not many people draft, in that we may be going with 2 quarterbacks, 7 running backs, and seven receivers and 2 tight ends. We are going very light on running back here. Our second guy off the board, Cordell Patterson, pick 110. Let me know if you think I should have gone James Cook or Melvin Gordon there. Honestly, think that it's marginal regardless. So tight end, Travis Kelce. We have the elite level guy, tight end 1 in fantasy. Lock it in. We have Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott in there at QB. We have the stack with CeeDee Lamb and Dak. We have the stack with Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts. Aside of that, wide receiver, we have CeeDee Lamb, DJ Moore, Terry McLaurin, Darnell Mooney, Tyler Lockett. In a best ball format, I am very comfortable with those 5 guys. And at running back, we have the combination of Miles Sanders and Cordell Patterson. Now, looking back on this, should we have decided to pass on Dak Prescott at pick 86 and instead take Clyde Edwards-Helaire there? That way, at the 9-10 turn, we go Justin Fields. What is Justin Fields' exact ADP? 124. You know what? That's a lie. I wouldn't have taken Justin Fields. I would have tried to get greedy. I would have tried to get him at pick 131, and which clearly wouldn't have happened. So we probably made the right call, knowing myself, to just go ahead and grab our second elite level quarterback there in a best ball format. We're going to be able to just rack up so many total points from those 2 guys. And then at this point, come on, stop taking running backs, guys. Please, please. Have mercy. Start getting these wide receivers off the board. Wide receivers and quarterbacks. It is nice to see these quarterbacks still going a little bit earlier than their ADP. Justin Fields, Rodgers, Stafford, Cousins, Carr, all going early. I'd say actually Stafford, probably not too early. Usually he goes there at the 8-9 turn to whichever team took Cooper Kupp. Rondell Moore, Irv Smith Jr. off the board. Not great for us. Sorry, great for us. I forgot. Usually we're kind of wanting wide receivers to make it back to us in this range. Because usually we've drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Miles Sanders, James Cook, Melvin Gordon. Usually we've already loaded up on those running backs in that range. Josh Jacobs, J.K. Dobbins. Okay, so not going to take... I guess, you know what? If Zach Ertz were to fall 23 picks in his ADP, if he were to fall 2 entire rounds, we'd go ahead. We'd take Zach Ertz. If Christian Watson were to fall 15 picks, we'd take him. Rojo, obviously we need a running back. I guess actually we probably prefer Gallup over Alexander Madison, considering the fact this is a Dak team. Then we go Alexander Madison, and beyond that, oh dear God, look at this running back void. Darrell Henderson and Nyheim Hines, not for a while later. Come on, please, guys, get us Rojo, get us Alexander Madison here, pick 131. I don't know if I would be able to take Alexander Madison over Gallup, considering the fact that we have Dak. But please give us one of these guys. We're going to assume that someone decides to take Zach Ertz before we're on the clock. I'm sorry, but if we have Zach Ertz with an ADP of 108 falling to us at 131, just simply based on the fact that no other team in this contest is going to have that value. We are going to have to go ahead and we're going to have to take him. Zach Ertz goes. Good. Get that mess out of here. Get that mess. We don't even want to have to consider it. Now, William Slater on the clock only has 3 wide receivers. Their 3 wide receivers are Diggs, Mike Evans, and DK Metcalf. So they got some alphas. They decided to take another potential alpha there with Christian Watson. We're going to have to take Gallup if he falls. You know what? We probably have to take Gallup over Rojo and Alexander Mattison if all 3 players are available, considering the fact that we should be able to get one of Rojo or Alexander Mattison on the way back around. Okay, so Rojo's off the board. If both of these guys go, I have no idea what we're doing. We probably need to figure that out because we're probably going to have to make a difficult selection and pick 134 as well. Tua Tagovailoa gone. Perfect for us. We're going to get one of these guys. If we could get both, I'm living in a dream. Legacy, come on, my man. You want Cole Kmet. He goes Jameson Williams. Thank God. We have to take Gallup. We have Dak Prescott here. Not many teams are going to be able to get Gallup here. 8 picks behind his ADP on the same team that they took Dak Prescott on to get that double stack there with CeeDee Lamb. So I will be excited about that. And Jarvis Landry, come on. Get us Alexander Mattison. Get us Alexander Mattison. This team could have so much upside if we get Mattison here.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll call you back. Thank you. Come on! Come on!
Oh, hell yes. Hell yes. Getting Alexander Mattison as our running back 3, of course. Alexander Madison's doing nothing in games where Dalvin Cook plays. But in games where Dalvin Cook misses, Alexander Mattison has averaged a top 5 finish on a points per game basis. And if we are looking at Dalvin Cook's health, Dalvin Cook is almost a guarantee to miss 3 to 4 games any season. Imagine this roster. Imagine this roster if Dalvin Cook goes down for the year. Not wishing that on Dalvin. Of course, we're just talking range of outcomes, trying to find out how we have that elite level ceiling. And I think this team truly does have an elite level ceiling. I was so worried after that Cordell Patterson pick at 110, and we ended up having to take Lockett instead of grabbing 2 running backs like Kenneth Walker or Chase Edmonds and Cordell Patterson. That's what we had in mind, but those RBs went early. I'm so excited to get Michael Gallup and Alexander Mattison there with this build. We still can end up going with 7 wide receivers, 7 running backs, 2 quarterbacks, and 2 tight ends. Because we have the elite tight end production, elite quarterback production regardless. Pretty damn strong at wide receiver. We have Joshua Palmer going at 139, Mecole Hardman, John Dotson. So at this point, we're kind of fine seeing whatever happens on this draft board. Let me go through and let's recap this legacy team, because I feel like once they took Michael Pittman Jr. at pick 15, they haven't been too crazy afterwards. I mean, they go ahead, they take Hollywood Brown at the end of the 3rd. They take Ezekiel Elliott at the beginning of the 4th. Those guys aren't exactly the players that I am targeting in those ranges, but I completely understand the thought process there. Like, I'm not necessarily going to speak poorly on deciding to go with those 2 players at the 3-4 turn. And then we're looking at Kyler at the end of the 5th to stack up with Hollywood. Elijah Mitchell a little early at 63, but I get it. Antonio Gibson, great pick at 82. Ayuk, pretty strong pick at 87. Sky Moore, good pick at 106. Garrett Wilson, good pick 111. So I guess, you know what? The team, maybe they just really like Michael Pittman Jr. It looks like they know what they're doing, but I just can't get behind that Michael Pittman Jr. selection. Now, we have a couple other tight ends off the board. Not going to cry about any tight ends off when we have Travis Kelce. Looks like we have Hunter Henry going as well. So it looks like we're not even going to be in the market for a tight end here, pick 155, unless Albert O is available. I think Albert O is still on the board unless he went way earlier than I'm looking at now. Yeah, Albert O is still there. We're not dying for receivers on this team. Like, if Tolbert would have fallen, Tolbert would have been in addition. But really, Crowder falls 17 picks. Albert O is there. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take Albert O. Van Jefferson falls 10 picks. We'll take Van Jefferson. We'll take Robbie Anderson. Because keep in mind, like I said, if we draft one of these wide receivers here, I think we can get away with only taking 7. So let's see what these teams decide to do. We're almost going to get a running back guaranteed to us on the way back around. I wouldn't mind grabbing Kenneth Gainwell if Kenneth Gainwell is the best running back available. Even though I know, of course, usually you don't want to do that in a basketball tournament style structure. I think it's a little bit more intriguing to handcuff those RBs. Okay, Spinosaurus on the clock. They only have 1 QB. They only have 1 QB. They only have 1 tight end. They have Michael Thomas. My man, you want Winston. Let's see him take Winston. Please take Winston. Winston at ADP, 152. You got Michael Thomas. What else do you need? You don't want Crowder. You don't want Alberto. See what he does. Taking it all the way down. Is he on auto? No, I don't think so. He goes, oh my God. Oh my God. Tannehill out of left field. I guess he does have Treylon Burks and Robert Woods, but if you want Ryan Tannehill, why the hell are you taking him here? Why aren't you just waiting until the 14th round? Daniel Jones off. Perfect, guys. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take Jamison Crowder. We're getting Crowder 17 picks behind his ADP. I think if we take Crowder, now we are fine only drafting 7 of these guys. Let's even get rid of Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson's available at pick 158. I'm not even taking him. Okay. Ooh. Please don't also take Gainwell. I'm not a massive fan of Edwards or Herbert. Actually, I guess we'll go Alberto regardless. Yeah, you know what? Alberto, 15 picks behind his ADP. We're going to take a second tight end here if he's going to be available. And then we're just going to hammer in running backs at the very end that can possibly cycle through. Oh my gosh, guys. We're going to get Alberto as our tight end 2 here. So let's go through. Highlight this team. So far at quarterback, we have Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts. So we have 2 elite level quarterbacks. Nothing else we can ask for. At tight end, we are also elite. We have Travis Kelce and Alberto. I mean, here, of course, mainly we're relying on Kelce, but still, I think Alberto does have some spike week potential and could potentially slide into a flex spot if we would need him to. And then at wide receiver, we have CeeDee Lamb, DJ Moore, Terry McLaurin, Darnell Mooney, Tyler Lockett, Michael Gallup, Jamison Crowder. At running back, we are very weak. I don't want to act like we're not. We have Miles Sanders, Cordell Patterson, Alexander Madison. But a lot can change throughout the course of the season. Where, hell, what happens if Miles Sanders starts scoring touchdowns behind the best offensive line in the NFL? What happens if somehow, some way, Dalvin Cook goes down and then all of a sudden we automatically have a running back 1 with Alexander Madison? And we're going to take some more shots on some of these running backs a little bit later on as well. So, it should be pretty exciting. Should be pretty exciting. Okay, so we have Tyler Higbee, David Njoku, Noah Fant. Yeah, and that's perfect. Perfect to get these elite level tight ends off. Mac Jones, get those quarterbacks off. Okay, so at this point, I'll take Gus Edwards if he falls. With this team where we could use weekly touches, if Gus Edwards falls 20 picks in ADP, I'll take Gus Edwards. We would take Darrell Williams. I'd take James Robinson. I'd take Marlon Mack. I'd take Jamal Williams. Essentially take any of these running backs that are going to have a role and potentially have access to more if there were to be an injury in the offense. But I have a feeling that some of these guys are going to begin to get drafted. Now, of course, what we can hope for are these guys to go. This is what we're hoping for. Which Evan Ingram just goes off. Corey Davis goes off. Perfect. We have Q of 6 running backs. I think we have a good chance to get one of these guys. I'm not a big fan of Mark Ingram. I probably would pass on Mark Ingram even for J.D. McKissick just because I don't think Mark Ingram has upside in weeks 15, 16, 17. This team, 5 running backs, 4, 4, 5, 4, 4, 4. You can easily see some more wide receivers or tight ends off. The team right before us only has 1 tight end. Legacy's tight end is going to be Tyler Higbee. So if I were them, I'd be slamming another tight end relatively soon. Now, I mean, I think this is also the team that reached on. No, the Tannehill team. Where's that? Okay, Spinosaurus is going to say maybe they reach on an Austin Hooper, but never mind. We can assume that none of these teams are on auto draft just because, hell, Gus Edwards would have been autoed in the last round rather than this one. Alec Pierce off the board. Gosh, this is exciting. I do prefer Darrell Williams out of all these RBs in that he should have a role on a week-to-week basis in Arizona. It's going to be a very small role. James Conner should be the starting running back, but you wouldn't be surprised if he just randomly falls into the end zone. He can't spike into your starting lineup in a best ball format. And obviously, if James Conner were to go down, he would have access to a very high ceiling. But he goes a big 175 anyway, so we're not going to get him. Come on, guys. Don't take all these running backs. Will Fuller goes, good. Someone take Brate. Someone take Hayden Hurst. Someone take Deshaun Watson. We can't take Deshaun Watson when we have Hurts and Dak Prescott. We already have 2 elite guys that we paid up for as well. It's not like we got them at a massive value. Mark Ingram gone. Good. That was the running back that I had no interest in. So it should look like we are going to get 2 of these top 3 running backs. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take a James Robinson. Robinson should miss the beginning portion of the season with the 20 Achilles. But if Robinson weren't going to miss the beginning portion of the season with the 20 Achilles, I can tell you right now, we want to be getting him at pick 179. And we'd be fine with either Marlon Mack or Jamal Williams here. Come on, Leroy. What are you doing here, big fella? What are you doing? You wait, Cameron Brate. Go Sammy Watkins. You want Watkins. Actually, I don't even care who you give us between Marlon Mack and Jamal Williams. What am I talking about? Who gives a damn? Like, this would be an instance if we were live. I'd just ask you on the live chat who you're preferring between Marlon Mack and Jamal. We'll go ahead. We'll take Marlon Mack. Contract doesn't indicate that he's guaranteed to be the starting running back here. But what's nice is if we take Marlon Mack, we can say that we officially just took 2 running backs with a history of torn Achilles here at the turn to be our running backs, 4 and 5 of this team. So, of course, not ideal, but it is what it is. We'll figure it out. And we are going to be looking for 2 more running back values at the very end of drafts. Honestly, I'm kind of fine with the running backs that we can find at the very end now. Maybe, just maybe, I do what smart people would tell me to do. And instead of taking 7 running backs, I decided to stop myself at 6 and grab an 8th wide receiver. We'll see what the value is on the board, and we'll see what makes sense for us at the time. Okay. So Baker Mayfield goes pick 187. Good for us. Good for us. Like, if we were to, say, have KJ Hamler fall into us at 203, which obviously doesn't happen in this draft, but that's what I'm speaking on in terms of a wide receiver value that I really like, that I feel like we almost just can't pass up on. Deshaun Watson, 188. Austin Hooper, 189. Good, good, good. There's nothing better we can find. Raheem Mostert. Between Mostert and Sony Michel, I honestly don't even really care who we get. Neither running back has any usage in the receiving game. Neither running back's that exciting. I probably would take Julio Jones if Julio were to make it to us. I'm not taking Chris Evans in any of these drafts. I'd honestly prefer Sony Michel over Chris Evans. I'd prefer Zamir White over him as well. I think Julio is a good example of a player that would be too good of a value to pass up on. I almost want to say the same thing about Wan'Dale. Okay, let's look at this running back position in depth. Miles Sanders, Cordell Patterson, Alexander Madison, James Robinson, Marlon Mack. Receiver, I think we're strong enough at wide receiver. Because also remember, if we take 7 running backs here and we end up having, say, Dalvin Cook go down for the year, and then you're like, oh, Mason, you wasted a roster spot on a running back. You should have taken that last wide receiver. You have a locked-in running back 1 with Alexander Madison. These running backs could still pop in our starting lineup. These running backs could still pop into the flex. Like, the points scored from, say, Brian Robinson and Jerick McKinnon in the range of outcomes, how different is that actually going to be between a Wan'Dale Robinson and an AJ Green? I think the running backs do have it in the range of outcomes to possibly outscore the wide receivers in this range. And obviously, we are desperately looking for running back production here. Okay. So M. Bennett's on the clock. They have 5 running backs, 6 receivers. This is the team that auto-drafted Edwards. No, they didn't auto-draft. I apologize. Yeah, they're taking John Mechie. They are awake, hands on the wheel. Okay. I think there's definitely a tier drop-off after Brian Robinson and Jerick McKinnon. I even think there's a tier drop-off after Brian Robinson. I can make the argument that Brian Robinson's more appealing than Marlon Mack. But the thing is, you have to take Marlon Mack thinking that Brian Robinson could make it back to you. Okay, please. Okay, I think we're going to get him. We're going to definitely get one of Robinson or Mack. Hell yes. Let's go ahead. Let's draft him here as our 6th running back. Running back that was just selected in top 100 picks in the NFL draft. How about this? For everybody screaming at me that we need to take a wide receiver, we'll let Leroy decide what we do. If McKinnon's available, we're taking McKinnon over Wan'Dale. If McKinnon's not available, Wan'Dale is. We'll take Wan'Dale. If they're both gone, we'll take Sony. Looks like he's taking it down to the very last second. He goes Terrace Marshall. I want McKinnon. I truly do. If I were him, I'd go with the 5th running back. I mean, you have I understand a very strong start with your first 3 guys. He goes Eno freaking Benjamin. We're going to take Jerick McKinnon here quite easily. We're going to go with the very rare, the very unique 2 quarterbacks, 7 running backs, 7 receiver, 2 tight end build. I will show off this draft board. Guys, I feel like over the past week, we have just absolutely crushed these drafts. Absolutely crushed these drafts. But please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and go sign up for Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code FLOCK. Have some fun. Get into some real money fantasy football drafts. And when you sign up for Underdog Fantasy and use promo code FLOCK, they'll match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. You will get our 2022 fantasy football draft guide with literally just a $10 deposit. Go have some fun. Go hop in some of these drafts. That's all I got for you. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I really hope you